Hi there everyone, this is Dane Dormio, and today I'd like to talk to you about a portion of the opening from the Daily Dose process that I call the three circles. There are three individual parts of the body that we're going to circle, and the three circles refer to the top of the spine, the center, and the knees, each of which we move in an individual horizontal circle. The purpose of the three circles is to help open the joints and soften the muscles. It's not a movement that is done with tension or with pressure or with a lot of effort. It's actually more of an example of passive movement, especially circling the top of the spine and the neck. Passive movement is moving the head and the neck around. So we want these movements to be as soft and as expansive as possible. The purpose mainly is to open the joints of the body, open and loosen the joints of the body. So the first circle, circle number one, we circle the top of the spine. And I like to indicate the very top of the spine here, the knob at the base of your neck. That's the point of the body that's moving in a circle. So I'll do this movement one time in each direction, from the front and from the side, so you can see what it looks like, and then I'll point out some details and some potential pitfalls with this movement. That's from the front, and now from the side. Now, what I'm hoping you're able to see from this is that it's the top of the spine that's moving in a horizontal circle this way, not the head itself. What's actually going on with the head is that the neck is relaxed so that the head moves around like a swivel due to gravity, pulling it around in a circle rather than the muscles of the neck moving in a circle. So you'll notice hopefully the first thing that I do is move the top of my spine forward and just let the neck hang down and relax. And then when I move the top of my spine to the side this way, my head leans to this side due to gravity, not due to the muscles in my neck actually moving it. And then similarly, when my spine moves backwards, my head just rolls and falls backwards due to gravity. And the same thing again on the other side. When my spine moves this way, then my head rolls that way due to gravity. And again, back to the front. So, to do this properly, you really have to put your awareness in that spot in the top of your spine, move that in a horizontal circle, rather than using the muscles in the neck to move the head around, which is what people often do with this movement the first time. They interpret it as being this, which is using the muscles of the neck to roll the head around. From the side, this is what that looks like. Notice that at this point, the top of my spine is not moving at all, and rather I'm using my neck to move my head around. The actual movement we want to do has the head hanging down, and the top of the spine moves around in a circle. So the spine tilts, the shoulders tilt, as the top of the spine moves in a circle, forwards, side to side, backwards, moving in a horizontal circle like that. Another pitfall with this, potential pitfall with this, is straining the neck too much. You want to tilt to the degree that your neck can stand so that it's still comfortable, so that you're not stressing or straining your neck too much, not putting too much pressure on the vertebrae in your neck. That can be quite uncomfortable and can even cause damage. So make it easy enough, a small enough range of motion that it feels comfortable and ideally even pleasurable for you. This everything we do in Qigong should feel good. If you're doing it right, that's a sign you're doing it right, is that it feels good. And if it hurts or if it's uncomfortable, that just means that you're doing it wrong. So it's very important to pay attention that we don't strain or stress the neck this way. This movement can be done in any portion of it. In other words, you could just roll side to side through the range of motion in the front without necessarily going all the way around. Or rather than going all the way around in a circle, you could go partially around one way and partially around the other way. The key feature here is that you're working with the top of the spine directly rather than using the neck to move the head. The neck muscles are relaxed and the head is moving due to passive movement, due to gravity, rather than being actively moved by the neck muscles. And this is something that you can do for less time or for more time as part of the standard daily dose process. We just do it about 3 times in each direction. You could do it for longer if you wanted to do it, as long as your body is enjoying the movement, as long as it's feeling good for you. So when you are exercising on your own, when you're practicing on your own, you don't necessarily have to stick to a fixed routine, a fixed number of reps, a fixed length of time. You can do each of these exercises as much or as little as it feels good for your body to do it. The second circle is the base of the spine, or the center, which are basically directly connected. We're going to move it in a horizontal circle this way, very much as if you were hula hooping. And I like to place my hands here over the center just to draw the attention there and to close the energetic loop and bring the awareness to the center of the body, this being the part of the body that's moved. We're moving it in a slow, smooth, broad circle, making the circle as broad and as circular as you comfortably can. That's from the front and then from the side. Again, the idea of this is to relax the body and open the joints. In particular, we're exploring the entire range of movement of the center. We want the movement to be smooth, fluid, and relaxed, horizontal. And some common pitfalls that we want to avoid, that beginners often run into, are we want to do this with relaxation rather than tension. So we want to be breathing fully and smoothly, not holding the breath, not tensing the torso, but rather expanding. We want to make the movement smooth, continuous, constant speed, and as near to circular as possible, as near to a full circle as possible. That will ensure that we're getting the full range of motion out of the hip joints and the sacroiliac joint, where the pelvis attaches to the legs and the spine. And then also we want to have the feet flat, the knees still bent, and the spine floating upwards. The spine tilts due to the bottom moving, but the top of the spine stays pretty much in the same place, while the base of the spine moves in a circle around it. So the spine is still floating upwards. And we also want to have the feet flat for this, so we don't want the feet to be rolling to one side or to the other, or forwards or backwards. And we also don't want to have the knees locked. We still want to have some gentle bend in the knees the whole way through this movement. Even going backwards, we don't want the knees to be locked back like this. We still want to have some gentle bend in them. Likewise, going to the sides and going forward, we want to have a gentle bend in the knees rather than having them being completely locked. In the daily dose process, we typically do this 3 times in each direction, but this is a movement you can do as much or as little as it feels good. If your body's wanting to do it more, by all means you can get more out of this. And then the third circle is the knees, and I like to put my hands here on my thighs just to bring the awareness and the attention down into the legs, because that's what's moving for this. We're specifically moving the knees around in a horizontal circle. So that's from the front and then from the side. So this could be done in different configurations, but I like to do it with the feet just hip width apart, directly under the hips. So in other words, not wide apart like this, not shoulder width or wider, and not directly together. Just hip width apart. And for this movement, the spine is still floating upwards. We're still breathing full and relaxing the rest of the body. And as we move the knees in a circle, we actually are going to go all the way forward, all the way to the side, and all the way backwards. So the knees will go all the way straight for this movement. And the feet also we want to roll around. So the feet are actually not staying flat for this movement. They're actually rolling around. As we go forward, we roll over the front edges. As we go to the side, we roll up onto the sides of the feet. As we go back, we roll onto the heels. So the feet are rolling around their, their outside edges for this movement. And this movement is particularly strong for developing balance. It's a very strong balance exercise, and it's something that you can do if you want to focus on balance. And of course, it's also focuses on the mobility of the knee joints and the hips and ankles, which the knee is attached to, and developing the full articulation of all of those joints in the legs. So this one is also one that you can do more or less of. You can do it for longer if your body's wanting to do it for longer. However long it feels good for you is fine. In the daily dose process, we typically do this one just 3 times in each direction. That's good for a standard kind of minimum dose. By all means, you can do more of this if your body is wanting that. So these 3 movements are called the 3 circles: the top of the spine, the base of the spine, or the center, and the knees. These are primarily for opening, expanding, loosening the joints, softening the muscles in preparation for our Qigong practice as part of the daily dose process. And the 3rd movement, rolling about the knees or circling the knees, is also a very strong balance exercise. So I hope that this information is useful to you. I hope that it's something you can incorporate into your practice, and something that you can do at any time to awaken your body to its full potential, its full range of movement, and and get you more into a feeling awareness of your body and what your actual degrees of freedom are. So thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me on this lifelong mind-body mastery journey. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.